let me just take a moment to talk about slavery. And as I mentioned earlier, those of us who are descendants of slaves are very much always interested in what we can do to stop slavery wherever it is, or to stop it before it starts. Mr. Speaker and members, let me just say, while my friend on the opposite side of the aisle makes an argument about the inconvenience and the loss of money to American firms, slavery is always about money. Slavery in this country was about labor. It was about using those who they brought over on slave ships from Africa to pick cotton and to enrich those owners on the plantations that were involved with cotton as its major trade, as its major source of income and profit. And so we cannot be sympathetic to any argument that talks about it's going to inconvenience investors or American companies. Slavery is about exploitation and the use of other human beings in order basically to derive a profit from their work and from the fact that they are slaves. And so when my friend on the opposite side of the aisle talks about, he too is sympathetic to the arguments that are made against slavery, and he points out that his own wife was a victim of slavery, as he talks about what happened to her and her family, as we all know and certainly are opposed to, the Holocaust and what happened. Let us focus on the fact that whether you're talking about the Holocaust, or whether you're talking about slavery with the Uyghurs, whether you're talking about slavery that we experienced as Africans brought over on slave ships, slavery is slavery no matter where it takes place. And so, no, we are not sympathetic to the fact that investors may lose money if in fact we stop slavery. We are not sympathetic to the fact that it is an inconvenience and that somehow the SEC should not be burdened with the responsibility to deal with this. They don't know how to deal with this. But I want to tell you something. History has taught us that for all of those who turned their backs and said they didn't understand, they didn't see, but they didn't agree, but they didn't know what was going on, that's how these injustices continue, when people turn a blind eye. And I don't care whether it's the SEC or any other agency of government who can make the argument that they're not equipped to do what we're asking them to do, then go and get your act together and get equipped, because the Congress of the United States is charging you with this responsibility. And when you tell me that we should respect the SEC, saying that it has not had the kind of experience that is needed in order to deal with this issue, let me just share with you that I don't care whether it is an appointee by Obama or anybody else. One of the reasons I have created a subcommittee on inclusion, diversity, and inclusion is because most of the agencies of government, particularly in financial services, you don't have people who look like me who are going to stand up and take on these issues. Unfortunately, a lack of caring, a lack of understanding, a lack of experience, or whatever you want to call it, we are about opening up these agencies so that we have people who will stand up, just like I'm standing up here today, and teach you about that which you don't know or you don't understand. And so, when I take a look at the SEC or the OCC or Treasury or the Fed, the Federal Reserve, none of them have people in management positions who will talk about the experiences of those in this country, African Americans and our ancestors, in a way that will create the sensitivity for change. And so we are always focused and centered on justice, and we understand injustice when we see it. We feel it very deeply, and we're opening up these agencies, and we are providing the leadership on diversity and inclusion so that we can get people in these agencies who are willing to do the job and to help share the information that is needed to create change. And so, again, I urge my colleagues to support this legislation, which is a most important step towards protecting our investors and doing our part as global citizens. It is our moral imperative to do everything we can to stand up against injustice. And so with that, I yield back the balance of my time.